terms of confidence in general, what we talked about, or something that you heard specifically from them. So, anybody? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah, we'll go there and we'll go to you.
Okay. I really love what you said about fair and square. Someone is better than you in the area, because that's part of life. My sister had told me, I guess someone had told her, but she had said, if you're the smartest one of your smartest in your friends, then you need to find new friends.
Amen.
Or, you know,
should be
doing
learning
the most out of all your friends, you need a whole other group of friends.
Yeah.
So that has stuck with
Good
me
advice.
for a while. I wanted to ask you, how, as a business owner, how can you be vulnerable with your employees, but still not lose the focus of being professional in the office place, not losing their trust or their respect, or them thinking that you're on the same level, and you know, or
Can I take the first thing?
yeah.
First of all, there's all kinds of ways to be vulnerable. So if you're thinking like, you know, you have to go confess all your sins to your staff, you know, tell them I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah. So it's good to clarify that. You know, I think what vulnerability probably really means in this situation is being a good listener. You know, being able to ask people good questions when you don't know everything. Really listen to the answers. Not snap to judgment. And the other thing that's really important is to learn not to shoot the messenger when somebody tells you something you don't want to hear. Because, you know, if you do that, you're going to teach people to lie to you. So, and that never works. You will fail faster from that than anything ever. But, you know, so vulnerability just means maybe not being the know-it-all, you know, in being able to lead by, you know, first of all, you know, walking around talking to your people, knowing what they know, you know, and figuring out what's needed and drawing that out from the people that you have. You know, that's a form of vulnerability, because it says, I'm not just, you know, some managers in the old military model operate from the place of I am the source of all knowledge and I will simply command and you will do. Okay, that is not vulnerability. You know, that is directive, that is controlling.
And it's insecurity, though.
Oh,
That's all.
well,
Maybe.
sometimes,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
mostly.
That's
in the
true.
military,
Yeah.
it might not be.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
true.
I've never been a general.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you know, within a working construct, you know, it really means not asserting before you know. You know, and really making sure that you understand. That is a form of vulnerability, and it's very different than saying, well, Jennifer's heard me say it, you know, because I just don't know what she knows, and that's okay. But you know, it doesn't mean that I'm giving up my authority, and Jennifer knows when we're working on tech decisions, you know, ultimately I'm going to make the final decisions, you know, but I'm going to listen to her very carefully, and to Joy and to others on the staff about what we're going to do before we make a decision, because it's a big decision usually when you're buying technology and software, and you need to make sure that you've really assessed. It's a form of vulnerability to not sit at the top going, well, yeah, I've already thought about this, and this is what we're going to do. You know, first of all, if I did that, you'd probably quit. You know, and that would be a loss. And second of all, it just wouldn't make any sense, because I really don't know, and I have to listen to the people who have expertise and make good decisions based on what they're telling me. And it's vulnerability to trust your experts on your staff. So.
Arnett?
What moment or situation made you realize that you had the confidence to be a leader?
The confidence
did you hear
to
her?
what? Be a
To be a leader.
oh, the confidence to be a leader.
The confidence to be a leader?
Yeah, what
I've been leading since
situation?
I was 5.
Born a leader.
No.
Yeah.
Personally, I would say for me, it was when I moved here, and the situation that I was placed in with the unemployment was the point for me. Like I said before, that was one of my valleys. You know, I never had been through a situation like that before. But I think the thing was, every day that I would get knocked down as far as like going, okay, I've done 5 job interviews today. Like, goodness. And then none of them came through. And I'm picking up my son from school, and I'm like, he's like, did you get it? And I'm like, no, I didn't get it yet. He would come to me. That's why I said that support mechanism, that cheering squad is so important, because he would just be like, Mom, he just giving you, God just giving you more time with me. But it's all good. We can go do something. I'm like, no, boy, we got. But at the same time, it's like all of a sudden, that was a confidence booster for me personally to say, you know what, if you, and I know he didn't know the true relevance of everything that was going on, although he was seeing some things. My point is just for me to be able to look at him as innocent as he was and as positive as he was being, and say to myself, I'm not going to quit. Because my situation was I came down here for an opportunity, and the opportunity fell through. But the thing about it is, I could have easily went back to where I was from. I'm from Ohio. I could have easily went back. I could have easily, said, I don't want to work in this field anymore. I only want to do this, and I'm going to continue, because my goal was California, to go out there. But my point is to say that everything has its purpose, but in that moment of being here, I realized I got to continue. I have to. I have to. I refuse to give up on myself. And that moment alone, it's just like, you know what? I don't know if I was calling it confidence. I was just like, I'm not quitting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think that was my moment. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I've been leading since I was 5.
This is more or less a comment, and just wanted to thank you ladies for sharing your experiences with us, because I came from a point where I was in a position where I had the knowledge base, and I was the go-to person, and I had that level of confidence, and there was an opportunity to move up, but I had to put myself in a vulnerable position and have to learn new things, and I was afraid. I was scared, and I knew that I would have to give some of my responsibilities up to other people and let them make mistakes, and that was really hard for me to let go. So I appreciate you guys, saying that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay not to know everything. People, it's a coworker of mine, come in with their knowledge and they take some of that stress off of your shoulders for you. So I do appreciate you ladies and sharing your stories with us, and I do know things will be fine, and the uncomfortable, the vulnerability only lasts so long. And
that level of discomfort that you even feel is just prepping you for the next level.
Yeah, that's right.
There's another, now it's going to be another. Just like you said, that vulnerability, it's continuing.
Yeah,
that's a life lesson. And the thing about it is that's so revealing. I know when I went through this was that I'm like, other people are feeling how I feel? Because you don't see that. We are not open.
Right.
We do not share. Like I said, it's like, and even my clients are women and you females. And I see women that are just like, and I've always, it's like, okay, no, we need to get to the core. Let me start stripping some of the layers. All of us have it. So that level of discomfort that you have had, or that you're moving through or got over, that's just giving you, it's another one. Sure. It's another level. But you'll be already there at that one. That's the difference. So, yeah.
And if you're always in a safe place, you're not growing.
Right.
Because you're not challenging yourself.
Exactly.
And can I add one other quick comment about vulnerability? Because I thought of something else that I wish I had said a minute ago. You should always, as a leader, be willing to recognize when you're wrong, and you should apologize. Okay? You shouldn't just try to gloss over it or make it up to them later, and maybe they'll know that that's really what you meant. You should be, especially if you're managing a staff of women, because what you want to do is create an environment where everybody is real with each other. And one of the best ways to do that is to, if you make a mistake, say it out loud. I didn't mean to do that. I kind of jumped too quickly. I'm sorry that I did. And you know what? That teaches everybody around you that it's okay to do that, and it makes the working environment a lot less hostile.
That's
So-
an open inclusion.
And to me, that's one of the hardest things to do, because that really does take some humility.
Yes.
To say, you know what, but it is a real leadership lesson for your people. And if you can't do it, they'll never do it. So if you want people to be more decent with each other, seriously in the workplace, you have to be willing to every now and then, on those rare occasions when you make mistakes, but everybody does. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
To be able to say, you know what, I shouldn't have said what I just said to you, and I'm sorry that I did that, and just and make sure everybody knows that you did it.
We've got just a minute or two left, so I want to make sure that if there's any burning questions, that you have the opportunity to ask it. So, final call for questions.
This is not a question, but this is something that I use in my life, and I want to speak to you. That when those times come, and I had to tell my front desk person, because I gave her this, and that to do, and she wanted to do it all in one day, but that was unrealistic, and she got frustrated, and her eyes got wider and all that, and I just literally touched her, and I said, what you're going through right now, it's not here to harm you. It's not here to harm you. It's only for you to grow. If you can tell yourself that when you go down deep in the valley, it's not in your life to harm you or to kick you down or push you down. It's only going to help you grow. And I had to teach my daughter that, because she's like, Daddy is so mean and he's so strict and this and that. But I told her, I said, you may not understand it now, but what he's sending you through that you don't like is going to make you a better person. And now that she's 21, if she's out in the world, she was like, I get it.
That's good advice. I like that. Great advice.
So just to wrap us up, one of the things that people in the room wanted to know is how to build confidence in other women, how to help build that for other women. So just a quick piece of advice from each of you to wrap up this panel. If you could share just a quick piece of advice about how we can help build confidence in other women.
I would just say be the example. That's a direct contact. Be the example, and not just on the exterior, not just on the interior, but be presentable where you're opening to people. I see a lot of women just, I'm in my lane, I'm doing this, I know you trying, but I'm in this, just no hand up, no piggyback. Just be the example of what you would want somebody to be to help or assist you or aid you. I was speaking at an event here recently, and I was telling the women that I was talking to, the most important thing that you can do in any situation, and this is relative to even if you go into a valley at any point in your life, because it's going to happen again, right? Things happen. But any situation that you go through, servanthood is the best source to get you going again. Whatever situation it is that you're facing. So I would just say being that aid, being that example, and then just looking at servanthood.
I try to just, take the time to mentor if a woman wants a mentor, but if it's, I remember one position I had, my admin assistant said, why do you always meet with all these people that call, they're looking for a job or they want someone to talk, they have an issue. She's like, you're so busy, should I tell them no? And I've always, someone calls and says, would you meet with me? I'm like, okay. But I do that because I was that person, and I may be that person again, who is unemployed and making that call. So I think you're paying it forward to all the people that were super busy and took time out for us. And then also knowing you may be in those shoes again someday. So it's that karma, you always pay it forward. So, and then encouraging women, to do that, to ask for help, to seek advice, to seek a mentor or get professional development like what all of you are doing. That's the way to build competence and confidence. The more competence you have, it helps with confidence. So I just encourage women to do that.
Have any of you heard the term management by exception? Do they still use that in teaching supervisors anymore? Good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Because it used to be that, we were taught, back in the 70s that, to manage people properly, what you needed to look at was where things were sort of off plan, either really well or really badly, but mostly it meant where it was really bad. And so, it was focusing on the wrong things. And so I would say as a leader, you should be focusing on, because you know what, here's the thing, everybody has weaknesses, and the truth is, at some level, you can improve some things, but at the end of the day, we're all still going to have weaknesses, okay? What we want to do is build on people's strengths. So you need to pay attention to that, you need to nurture that, you need to call it out, you need to let people know what you think about what they do. You're sitting in the presence of our golden pen here in Liz. She's an extraordinary grant writer. And it's an amazing gift of hers, and it's helped this organization in ways that it would take me half an hour to tell you about. And Jennifer is a graphic artist. Her brand is on the front of our building. So call out people's strengths, and help encourage them to build on their strength, rather than worrying about what they're weak at. So that's kind of professionally. Personally, somebody said it earlier, I want to emphasize girlfriends. Girlfriends. These are the people that get you through life, okay? And you need girlfriends around you, and if you're lucky, you'll have 5 or 6, that really are your real friends, who will tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it, but who are there not to hurt you, but to build you, and to support you and to love you. And the biggest confidence builder in the world is when you're having a tough day to be able to call a real friend and say, wow, you aren't going to believe what just happened, and let them talk you through it, and they will lift you up in a way, that, the only thing that'll lift you more than that is religion if you have one, and I hope you do. So, but girlfriends are the antidote, and should be treasured, and you should look for friends that are the people that you want to be, because they'll help lead you to be the person you should be.
Awesome. Can we give them a round of